Guys, it's not happening this weekend. Max Holloway is not beating Ilia Topuria. In this video, I'm going to give you guys my official breakdown and prediction for Ilia Topuria versus Max Holloway at UFC 308. I don't have a voice right now. It's gone. It ran away. So I got to be a little bit lower, but Ilia Topuria is going to go out there and dominate Max Holloway, and I'm confident of it. If you guys follow my TikTok, go follow me over there. I'll throw it on screen. Follow me on that. I get called the Topuria Glazer, Topuria this, Topuria that, but it's the truth. It is the truth. Ilia Topuria's style is going to absolutely dominate Max Holloway. This is one of the biggest fights in recent UFC history, and people are going to be very, very disappointed. Now, I've kind of realized how delusional the Max Holloway fan base is throughout, fight week and in the past few months. These guys have no clue what they're talking about, in my opinion. Every Max Holloway argument I hear is, oh, you're forgetting who Max Holloway is. Oh, did you see what he did to Justin Gaethje? Or the Blessed Express is coming. Excuse me, my notifications are on. That's not good. But to begin with, if we're comparing Justin Gaethje and Ilia Topuria, we've lost the plot. We've lost the plot. Ilia Topuria is 20 times better than Justin Gaethje. He's so much more technical, crisper boxer, has more power, objectively has more power than Justin Gaethje. He has the ability to mix it in, and I don't understand why we're comparing the two, but Ilia Topuria, coming off of the biggest win of his career against Alexander Volkanovski, slept Volkanovski in 7 minutes, and then Max Holloway, you could argue, is in his prime right now. I do believe Max Holloway is in his prime. I picked him to knock out Justin Gaethje. I don't think you guys did. I think he's in his prime right now, but I'm not sure what's going to happen in this fight. I feel like when we look at all of Max Holloway's recent performances, yes, they're good, but you could take things away from the fight. The Justin Gaethje fight, I don't think Gaethje is very good. Justin Gaethje is a taller fighter than Ilia Topuria. He stands somewhat straight up, so Max Holloway is able to invest in that body that helps him get into a rhythm. The jab to the body helps Max Holloway get into a rhythm. He's not going to be able to do that against Ilia Topuria, who is short, boxing stance. Max Holloway is not going to get into that rhythm with the jab to the body. Against Arnold Allen, he beat Arnold Allen. Arnold Allen had some moments. He landed that really nice elbow at the end of the fight. The Korean Zombie fight. Guys, let's not act like the Korean Zombie wasn't touching up Max Holloway. And that's the Korean Zombie. And now we have Ilia Topuria. I'm not confident for Max Holloway, and I think his chin is gonna get cracked in this fight. I think Ilia Topuria is gonna knock out Max Holloway, and it's weird because I don't see Max Holloway winning by decision. I know he's got the crazy 5-round gas tank, crazy pace. If anything, I think Max Holloway, the way for him to win and the path to victory for Holloway is a crazy knockout. I don't know if it's landing a head kick that grazes the top of the head of Topuria or lands a crazy right hand, but I don't see Holloway winning by decision, not submission. I feel like, if anything, Topuria is the guy to win by decision because Max Holloway is a rhythm fighter. He is a rhythm fighter. When he gets into his rhythm, he is very, very hard to beat, but Topuria has those rhythm breakers. If he wants to land a crazy overhand right that stuns Max Holloway and Max Holloway has to back up, he hurts Max Holloway. That breaks up the momentum. He is an incredible grappler. If he's getting touched up, all right, shoot a takedown, get some control time. That breaks up the rhythm of Max Holloway. As I said, Holloway's a rhythm fighter. So for Topuria, he has the skills to kind of just break up that rhythm. He is the best boxer Max Holloway has ever faced. I think he's the best boxer in UFC history. On a technical standpoint, the combinations are super tight. That boxing stance, the ability to go from the body to the head. I think Topuria is the best boxer we've seen in UFC history. And he's the best grappler Max Holloway has ever faced. If we're going to be completely honest, and I think Max Holloway has struggled in the past against shorter guys. Volkanovski 3 times. He lost every single time. Frankie Edgar, I know he won that fight by decision. He didn't necessarily look great. And guess what? In that Frankie Edgar fight, he was coming back to featherweight after a weight cut. And this weight cut might be pretty bad for Holloway. People have seen pictures of him. He looks sort of drained because that push to 155 where he fought Justin Gaethje, he took his time with that weight cut, man. He took his time. So maybe coming back down, he might have some trouble. Similarly to the Frankie Edgar fight, shorter guy, could mix it in a little bit. I think Topuria is going to destroy him. And we've seen in the past Max Holloway is susceptible to the low kicks against Volkanovski. Max Holloway got his lead leg chopped up by Volkanovski. That limits his side-to-side movement, his bouncy movement where he's always on his feet, kind of pitter-pattering at range, you could say. That's not happening with Topuria. You saw it in the Topuria-Volkanovski fight. I know he doesn't use his leg kicks a lot, but Topuria was chopping up Volkanovski's legs, chopping them up. They were red and everything. And now Max Holloway has worse leg kick defense, smaller legs, not as strong. I think Topuria invests in the low kicks early, chops them early, limits the movement of Max Holloway. And Max Holloway is at his best when he's standing tall. He could go to the body, move around the octagon, bouncy on his feet. But that's when he's facing taller opponents. Example, Justin Gaethje. But when he's fighting the shorter, I guess you could say stockier guys like the Topuria, like the Volkanovski, he can't be bouncing on his feet as much, because he's not going to be able to land. He's not going to have that side-to-side elite movement like we saw against Justin Gaethje. And Topuria is incredible at cutting down the range. I think Max Holloway's footwork, you could say, is a little bit more complex than Volkanovski's, but the way Topuria was able to march down Volkanovski and just land that one strike was insane. I do think Max Holloway attacks from a little bit more, angles, you could say. He attacks from more angles, and you could say his footwork is more complex, right? But his head is on a center line a lot. Topuria could land that overhand right. Wouldn't be too surprised. He closes down the range well. If you think Max Holloway is going to win, where? How is he going to win? And I'm doing this without any notes. I'm freeballing this shit. So if I sound a little crazy, it's okay. But where do we see Max Holloway winning this fight? Is he going to pitter-patter at range for 25 minutes, use his lateral movement for 25 minutes? And we think Ilia Topuria is not going to land that one strike to put out Max Holloway? And even if he lands a knockdown, say Topuria lands a knockdown, I don't see Max Holloway getting up after that. I know he's got a crazy, crazy chin. The weight cut might make it worse. And even if his chin is at its best, I don't think he takes the level of power of Ilia Topuria. Guys, this is ungodly power that Topuria has, and that's such a big X factor because we know Max Holloway is the volume guy. Say he lands more strikes than a Max Holloway. Topuria is going to land the more damaging strikes. It's a damage-based scoring. He's going to bloody up Max Holloway. He has scar tissue. I wouldn't be surprised if Topuria batters Max Holloway in this fight. I think stylistically, he has every advantage. He is the shorter, stockier fighter who is a better boxer than Max Holloway, better grappler than Max Holloway. He can mix it in. He can cut down the range. He's not going to be susceptible to the jab to the body, which helps Max Holloway get into a rhythm. I don't know, man. I don't know. I think this is a really tough fight for Max Holloway. Now, would I be overly shocked if he wins? Sort of. I'm very, very confident Ilia Topuria wins. And you could look at Max Holloway's resume. Every time he's lost, example, Volkanovski, McGregor at the time, and Dustin Poirier, you could argue all of those guys were better pure strikers than Max Holloway and better boxers at the time than Max Holloway. And I think Ilia Topuria is the best boxer in UFC history, and now he has the ability to mix it in. Guys, hear me out. Max Holloway is facing the best boxer he's ever faced and the best grappler he's ever faced. And as a rhythm fighter, Topuria has so many tools to break up that rhythm. And we should not be comparing Ilia Topuria and Justin Gaethje. They are levels apart on a technical standpoint, on a footwork standpoint, on a striking defensive standpoint. They're completely different. So I thought Max Holloway was going to go out there and school Justin Gaethje because technically they're not on the same level. But now we have Ilia Topuria, who is more technical than Max Holloway. I think he's going to chop the lead leg of Max Holloway, who has been susceptible to the lead leg calf kick in the past. And now he's facing a guy who has incredibly powerful leg kicks. He's going to chop the lead leg. Topuria is going to be able to march down Max Holloway. Holloway's footwork and his movement is going to be taken from him early in the fight. His lateral movement is not going to be there. One, because Ilia Topuria is a shorter guy, so he can't be as bouncy on his feet. His lead leg is going to be taken, and then he's not going to be able to invest in the body, so I don't see his movement being there. I don't see him pawing and pitter-pattering away from Topuria for 25 minutes and winning a decision. Also, Topuria is able to cut down the octagon. We saw in the Volkanovski fight, he can invest in the body. I wouldn't be surprised if Topuria wins by a body shot. He's got the best right hook or the best right uppercut to the body in the UFC. Max Holloway isn't a bulky guy like Volkanovski. He isn't. He'll be able to cut down that range. Now, I do think that spinning attack from Max Holloway, that busted open Justin Gaethje pause, I think that could work because, of course, Topuria is more in that boxing stance. So if he could do that when Topuria is closing the distance, that could work. But I think Ilia Topuria is the direct style to beat Max Holloway. I think Topuria is a better Volkanovski. We saw Volkanovski destroy Max Holloway, and now Topuria is a guy, I know his style and Volkanovski's style are not directly similar, but now we're getting a guy who has better grappling and wrestling than Alexander Volkanovski, a better pure boxer. I think there's gonna be real problems for Max Holloway. I see his chin. I see his chin going. I think he's gonna go to sleep. And in terms of the grappling, man, I mean, Max Holloway is not the best defensive grappler in the world. I know he's only been submitted one. Has he never been? No, he's been submitted one time. But his takedown defense isn't that good. And now you have Topuria, who is very heavy on top. He's able to glide on top. His transitions are elite on the ground. I could see him fighting a submission win. I wouldn't be surprised. And as I said, I want to drill down this point. Max Holloway is a rhythm fighter. The biggest thing that gets him into his rhythm is that body shot, is that jab to the body. He's not going to be able to do that against Ilia Topuria. He's not going to be able to get into a rhythm. And say he does, Ilia Topuria can land the big overhand right. He can land the low kick. He can mix in a takedown that gets Max Holloway out of sync. I think Topuria is going to do this. I think he's going to beat Alexander Volkanovski and beat Max Holloway. And I think he's going to go down as the greatest featherweight of all time. We've never seen a combination or a skill set like this in the featherweight division ever. Jose Aldo was not this complete. Volkanovski was not this complete. And I feel like I'm missing something. I feel like I want to get more points across, but I've kind of said what I've needed to say. I'm going to go over everything one more time. Follow my TikTok too. I'm throwing it on the screen one more time. Follow the TikTok, but Max Holloway is a rhythm fighter. He won't be able to get into his rhythm. He won't be able to land the jab to the body. He's been susceptible to the low kick in his career. Topuria has extremely heavy low kicks. What does Max Holloway need to do in this fight? Pitter-patter at range, not engage in the striking in the middle. He needs to pitter-patter at range, use his lateral movement. How is he going to be able to do that when his lead leg is destroyed and he can't get to a rhythm, he can't go to the body? Where is he going to find success? And Ilia Topuria, he rolls so well. The punches roll off the shoulders so well. His striking defense is so technical and so good. Where does Max Holloway land these strikes? I think the most successful strike for Holloway is that spinning attack and then maybe just the 1-2. But Topuria is so good at getting his head off the center line. Where does Max Holloway win this fight? I feel like I've presented the information to you guys and the argument as to why Ilia Topuria wins. Where is the counter argument? Where does Max Holloway find success? If you say, oh, he's going to school him from the outside, not going to be able to get into a rhythm, not going to be able to go to the body. His lead leg is going to be destroyed. And he's been susceptible to fighting worse, I guess you could say, against shorter guys because he can't get into his striking bag. Does he, I don't even know. What are you going to argue? Is he going to out technical Ilia Topuria in the pocket? I think if you argue that, you're objectively wrong. So if you want to argue that, you can, but on a technicality standpoint, Ilia Topuria is the best boxer we've seen in UFC history. The power is there. The striking defense is there. And then in the grappling department, it's night and day. I could see Topuria submitting Max Holloway. I see him knocking out Max Holloway. I could see him winning by decision based on pure damage. I see him bloodying up Max Holloway. The only way I see Holloway winning is by a crazy knockout that I wouldn't expect. So I believe I presented the information in a decent manner as to why Topuria wins. Where's the Max Holloway argument? And I think that weight cut could be a problem for him. He took the time to get up to 155. He took the time. But now he's coming back down to 145. Last time he did that, didn't look so good against Frankie Edgar, who is a shorter guy who could mix in a takedown to an extent. And now he's coming back down after fighting a not-so-technical Justin Gaethje to fight the most technical boxer in UFC history. And if you think his chin's going to last, okay, I simply don't. We've seen what Ilia Topuria has done to Damon Jackson, Jai Herbert, Ryan Hall, Alexander Volkanovski, and a lot of people love to discredit that Alexander Volkanovski win, and I think the UFC has kind of done that themselves because if Volkanovski wasn't knocked out by Islam Makhachev, objectively that is a better win for Topuria, but that happens every time. Prime Volkanovski loses to this Topuria because his chin's never eating that. His chin is never eating that right overhand. And then when he backs up, he's always left that chin in the air. Volkanovski was never beating Ilia Topuria, and Max Holloway is never beating Ilia Topuria. And if you guys are picking Max Holloway, fair enough. Of course, it's a cool debate, but what's the argument? Put it in the comments. I really want to know. I really want to know the argument. I'm super impressed from Topuria. I think he's extremely well-rounded. I think he will prove himself to be one of the greatest fighters of all time. I truly believe that when it's all said and done, I think he's going to be the greatest fighter of all time. Or no. I never said, fuck. I did not mean to say that. One of the greatest fighters of all time, but maybe he could find success. Maybe Holloway could find success in this fight. I feel like, I feel like the biggest thing for Holloway in this fight is, I guess after Topuria throws a combination, when he's on the back foot, then you could go with the 1-2, but he's got to be off the center line because Topuria could just throw that right overhand. I just don't see a world where Max Holloway has a lot of success. I see people picking Holloway. I think the Holloway fan base is a little crazy. I see people picking Holloway, and I see people picking Topuria, but see Holloway finding success. I don't see Holloway finding success in this fight. I really don't. I think his lead leg is going to be chopped. He's not going to be able to get into a rhythm. The 1-2 is not really going to be there because Topuria is so defensively sound. I'm trying to yap a little bit more. I'm trying to get some more points across, but I feel like I've done what I've needed to do. I know people are going to say, oh, Ilia Topuria didn't knock out Josh Emmett, yada, yada, yada. He still beat the fucking shit out of him, 50-44. I know you could argue, oh, if Josh Emmett's chin lasted, why shouldn't Max Holloway? That's a fair point, but I think Max Holloway, or Ilia Topuria, will land cleaner shots on Max Holloway because that threat of the knockdown or the knockout isn't as big as a Josh Emmett, and he did so well He did so well, Ilia Topuria, in that fight to not get hit by the big Josh Emmett strikes. I know Josh Emmett is very one-dimensional, but he did a good job. He has no flaws. Topuria has no flaws, man. And that's where I see Max Holloway finding a lot of issues. I don't think he's fought the best guys in the world recently. The Korean Zombie found success against Max Holloway. Arnold Allen found success against Max Holloway. Justin Gaethje, extremely one-dimensional. You got those three guys, and you compare them to Ilia Topuria, and the stylistic advantage for Ilia Topuria is night and day compared to these guys too. I think Ilia Topuria is going to go in there. I think he's going to knock out Ilia Topuria. Fuck. Ooh, that's bad. I just said Ilia Topuria is going to knock out Volkanovski, and Ilia Topuria is going to knock out Ilia Topuria. No. Ilia Topuria is going to knock out Max Holloway in the second round. That's my official prediction. Give me Ilia Topuria by second round KO. Wouldn't be surprised if he submits him, though. Max Holloway's takedown defense isn't great. Topuria is much stronger. His ability to apply heavy pressure on top, ability to float, ability to mix in transitions on the ground. I think I could see an armbar, Americana, Kimura, something like that. I could see a Chimera, or I don't know why I pronounced it like that. It's fine. I could see an Americana. I could see an armbar. I could see some weird arm submission. I really could. Maybe like nah, that's what I see. I could see like an armbar for Topuria on the ground, but I think he's going to go in there. I think he's going to strike with Max Holloway. I think he's going to dominate him in the striking department. And it's not that Ilia Topuria is 20 bajillion times better as a striker than Max Holloway. That's not the point I'm trying to get across. But the stylistic advantage for Ilia Topuria is going to make it seem like it's night and day. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I want to see the Max Holloway fans in the comments dispute my points. Dispute my points that Topuria's going to chop the lead leg. Holloway's not going to get into a rhythm. Yada, yada, yada. You listen to the video. Put it in the comments. I want to hear the other side. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow all my socials. Links will be in the description. Follow my TikTok, please. Peace out. Topuria by knockout.